Hey, what's up, YouTube? I finally have another trade recap. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but yeah, this is a good one. It's one of my bigger trades lately, just because the markets have been pretty, choppy and ranging. But yeah, so it was a short trade I took here on the British pound New Zealand dollar, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But I do just want to say we are very close to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone that has subscribed and supported the channel, liked my videos, and commented. Any kind of support. I just want to say I really appreciate it. I didn't know if I was gonna hit 1,000. Like I never really thought I would get to 1,000 subscribers. Or even like get it this quickly. So, anyways, it's really crazy. Really appreciate everyone that has supported me so far. And when I do hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. So, if you aren't subscribed yet, you should do that. I will be picking one person, and I will be giving away the swing trading blueprint, my course with over 20 hours of videos. I will be giving that away to one of my subscribers. So, and that's after I hit 1,000. So, if you aren't already, do subscribe. And if you gain any value from this video, do give it a thumbs up. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the trade recap. So, first, as you guys know, we need to talk about the fundamentals to get a good context of what's going on. So basically, the reason the New Zealand dollar has been so weak, right, from July to August, it just did not stop. And part of it was the pound was a bit strong. No really fundamental drivers for that strength in the pound. Mostly just it's just seen as a good a currency to invest in for the long term, right? Because now Brexit's almost over, and so I think that's part of the reason it just got bought up. And the New Zealand dollar was weak because of a dovish central bank and comments about negative interest rates, which is not perceived as a good thing by investors, and so naturally they will sell a New Zealand dollar on that news. However, nothing moves in one direction the whole time. And so what happened was I knew it was nearing the end of this trend, right? Because, again, like I said, nothing moves in one direction for a long time. Regardless of the fundamentals, they wear out eventually, right? They do wear out. And so oftentimes quicker than you might think. So anyways, I knew that around here the trend was going to end at some point. And so I did take a buy position, got stopped at like break even, and then I tried again down here, right? Because overall it was still keeping above. Okay, let's change this. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it was still keeping above this level, and so and if we're looking also, we had this low support. And so I tried again for a buy. And right, we also have this 100 daily moving average. Anyways, that ended up also getting stopped at a small loss, I think. And then, so what happened next is my bias shifted, right? Because I don't only go off of fundamentals, I also base my my entries off price action and market structure. And so when I saw it, started making a lower low, lower low, at that point, and just looking at the chart now, it looked like some head and shoulders, right? We could, especially if we broke down here, we could definitely see a nice move to the downside. So my bias was now more neutral, and so I was no longer just looking for long trades. I was now looking for short trades as well. And so I did get a good entry. So let me talk about where I got in this trade. So at this very point, this was before I got in the trade, my bias was now more short. And one of those reasons is because the fundamentals for the British pound shifted a little bit more to the downside, because the UK and the EU are still, after like 4 years, trying to come up with a trade agreement, trade deal for them to leave. And the transition period is coming to an end in October. So like 1 month, it's coming up really close, right? And so that's going to start weighing more heavily on the pound. Talks are still not going good. Um, yeah, they haven't come up with a deal. They're pretty divided on a lot of issues, and so naturally that increases the likelihood of a no deal, which is bad for the UK economy and bad for the British pound. So naturally the fundamentals shifted more negatively. On top of that, yeah, like I said, market structure and price action was looking now a bit more bearish. So I had a Fibonacci here, right? We had some moving averages lining up in this region on the 1 hour. I did have a trend line drawn like this, right? And so this, and then if we're looking on the 4 hour, we had this moving average starting to come down to this region. So at this very moment, this was a good area of confluence, right? And so I waited. I would like to get it closer to this trend line, right? And then we did get finally a move up into that region. It started chopping around, consolidating, and that is where I decided to take my short. So I took a short trade there. That was where I got in. My stop loss was above here, I want to say. Um, and so my first target was down on here, but that risk reward is not the best. And so what I did is moved it a little bit lower because quite honestly, if price got up into this region and above this moving average, price would no longer, it'd be a lot harder for price then to fall back all the way down here. Right. And so I felt safe with my stop loss right there. And now this puts me at a 2-to-1 risk reward for my first target, which is great. Let's just mark that off. So first target was right there. I like using Fibonacci extension levels for my targets. Makes it easy, makes it simple. Our next major support was like down here, and so that was another sort of. And we also had this 50 daily moving average, so that would be another target for price to hit, where I would think about taking partial profits, and then of course the 161 level. So that would be the third target, right? Target 1, target 2, target 3, and then this would be a fourth target. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm taking profits at all these levels. It depends on price action, it depends on my confidence level, and it depends on the fundamentals, where I would take partials if I will at all, right? Because sometimes I might reach a level, but I feel confident in it, and so I'm not going to do anything, right? I might move my stop loss once it hits here, but that's about it. And so I knew, however, if this whole Brexit mess comes into play and eventually there is a no deal, then the pound has a lot more room to fall. And so this is a good entry point. And so I figured, I would take a lot of, I'd take partials here, but I want to just keep a runner with no, just keep a runner and then see how it goes, because who knows, we might get a move down to here. So, yeah, that's how I like managing my trades. I have some targets, but I always like usually leaving a runner to let it go as far as it wants to go, basically, right? Letting your winners run. So, yeah, that's essentially the trade. That's my stop. Those are my targets, and those are the fundamentals behind it. So let's see what happened next. Again, chopped around, finally got to move lower. And then it came back to retest this trend line. It was kind of worrying me a little bit, right? Because this price action here, it came down, looked like it was making sort of a head and shoulders pattern, right? I figured if we broke here, then, I'd probably have a high likelihood of getting stopped out. But luckily, rejected, and then broke this little support it was making, or I guess channel. And this was another confluence, was right, a break, a retest of this trend line here. So lots of confluence in this area for a short. I felt really confident in it, right? It came into the 50 and 38 Fibonacci levels. We had two trend lines converging. We had some moving averages. Overall, it was a good level. So we finally broke to the downside and hit our first TP level, right? So hit the first TP level. At that point, I think I took maybe some partials, 5 or 10%, not very much. I also moved my stop loss to break even at that point and just let it run. And I actually was very fortunate. Obviously, I couldn't predict this before I was in the trade, but we had fundamentals come out that supported my position and accelerated my profits. And so let me talk about that for a second, because again, it's just about probability. So I didn't know this was going to happen, but the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, he basically created this bill, internal market bill, that broke international laws and really upset the EU. And it was super risky on his part, obviously jeopardizing even more the chances of them coming to an agreement with the EU, creating this bill that broke, laws, and so laws with the EU. And so the EU was thinking, but which, by the way, is the European Union. The EU was thinking about, taking the UK to court, over this, because again, they're breaking laws by this bill, which created, as you could imagine, a whole lot of mess for the UK, which accelerated the pound being sold off. And we can see that happen here. Yeah, it just tanked. So we hit this level. I took some more partial profits. I took, I think at that point now, like 50% off, and then I'd let the rest run, but just continued to melt, right? So at that point, again, I was just holding. I think I took, maybe 10 or 20% more off, just scaling out as I got into more profits. But I kept a runner going, like I said, because, who knows? It could get down to here and then break and then get lower. So it always is good to, leave at least some of your position running, even if it's maybe 20% of it, 10% of it. It's just a good idea, because who knows? If it runs a lot, that could equate, even though it's small size, right? It's only a small percentage of your original position. You can make maybe another, what, 1%, 2%, 3% of your account, maybe, by just letting it run, right? That's free money. So yeah, it got close to these levels, but it now has just sort of fizzled out, and just hovered around these levels. So and I still have a position running actually at the moment. Like I said, we might see further downside. So I have a piece running, but I took most of my profits now already. It was a beautiful trade and a great, great indicator of how you have to be flexible, right? If I kept on with this, bullish bias, I think it's heading higher, I think it's heading higher, and I ignored the fundamentals, I never would have taken this trade, right? I never would have short this pair. If I was a purely technical trader, yeah, I think I'd still probably, since it didn't break this, I think I'd still be trying to buy the dips. But since I had also that context of the whole Brexit situation, my bias shifted a little bit more to the downside. And as you can see, it played out very nicely. So I captured 700 pips at the low point. I was up 700 pips. I expect probably further downside. So yeah, it was a beautiful trade. Awesome entry. Awesome trade management. Like this is example of a perfect trade in my opinion. No complaints. yeah, so, sometimes I move my stop too early. Sometimes I take profits too early. But this was an example of um, just managing it perfectly. Not being too greedy by taking all my position off, letting a good amount run quite a while, and yeah, just being patient. Um, I was honestly expecting it to take much, much longer to get down to these levels. I didn't think it would happen in like the same week I took the trade, or like that. Yeah, that was crazy. I was expecting to hold this trade for, I was expecting a move down to here and then maybe fizzle out and then eventually head lower. But this thing just melted. And like I said, that was mostly due to fundamentals that came out after I was already in the position that I never could have really predicted, right? So, anyways, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Let me know if any of you guys took a similar trade on GN. I know a lot of people shorted it and shorted pound pairs as well. So let me know if you are in that boat. Congratulations to you. Last week, there was some crazy moves in the pound pairs. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, subscribe for more content. And that will enter you into the giveaway. So have a great day, guys. I will see you in the next video.